So ladies and gentlemen, controller or mouse and keyboard, which one is better and which one has the advantage when it comes to Warzone? Let's jump right into the discussion. Before we get into this, remember, this is my opinion only. If you guys got an opinion as well, put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to read all your opinions and what do you guys think is better. Well, one of the things I want to talk about first is something that I feel that a lot of people or just YouTubers in general don't address when they're talking about this. Everything they complain about is, and that's the only thing they really talk about. But I really don't feel that that's the whole the whole answer to this whole thing, right? We'll talk about aim assist and I'm gonna show you guys some examples on it later on in the video, but right now I want to talk about movement, which is something I feel gets kind of like left behind and it's really important. So let's consider this, right? You got a normal PlayStation 5 controller or a normal Xbox controller, right? To plain old controller, no paddles, no mods, nothing like that, against somebody on mouse and keyboard, right? Again, just your plain or regular mouse. Well, when it comes to that, movement is definitely going to be a lot better on mouse and keyboard, and we obviously know the reason. First of all, bunny hopping while aiming, if you're on a regular controller, again, not playing claw because that does mess up your fingers, and it is scientifically proven. I know because it happened to my dad as well. Not playing claw but doing other things. But again, just your regular controller, bunny hopping while aiming, you can do that on mouse and keyboard, but on controller you can't do that. Drop shotting while aiming, you can't do that on controller. You can do that on mouse and keyboard. Now you can do it on controller if you change your settings here and there, change some buttons around and do these things, but still it is still not the same because you're still using, like, for example, while drop shotting while aiming at the same time, you're still using the same thumb to click to drop shot while you're aiming. So it is possible, but it's still going to be better if you have a completely different finger drop shotting and the other one doing the aiming for you. The same thing when it comes to bunny hopping. It's the same thing even if you change a couple things. So at the end of the day, you can switch a couple things, but it's definitely going to be easier on mouse and keyboard. Now if you get a regular controller versus like a mouse and keyboard, I'd say the movement on mouse and keyboard is going to be like a million times better. That's why, I mean, when you always see somebody playing amazingly and moving like a maniac and on Warzone, you're gonna be like, damn bro, do you play on mouse and keyboard? Nobody says, oh my god bro, do you play on controller? Those are the sickest. Nobody says that, right? They all say, damn, you must play on PC, because obviously it's gonna be a lot easier. Now if we want to spend $200 up to $300 for a fully modded controller with the triggers, stoppers, and some nice everything, then yeah, the playing field definitely levels up because the paddles do allow you to bunny hop or to do whatever you want that the keyboard allows you. So if you're talking about a modded controller, $250 to $300, movement, it's almost about the same. But for most of the players around here who's got a normal regular controller, it is definitely going to be an advantage with the mouse and keyboard. Now let's talk about the aiming. But before we get into the aim assist, I just want to talk a little bit, explain it a little bit more. Now the reason I just feel a lot of people either say it's better to aim on PC and it's better to aim on controller because aim assist, but sometimes people don't really explain much. So the reason it is a lot easier to aim and to move on a keyboard and mouse and like to aim is because of the surface area that you're playing in, right? The larger the surface area, which I mean where your mouse is situated on, the larger area you have, the easier it is for you to aim. That is why control freaks work on controller. Now let me tell you why. The reason being is, again, if you have a big surface area with mouse and keyboard, you can have this thing that is kind of like high sensitivity and then precision when you want it. So because of this high surface area, you can move left and right 360 like a crazy maniac because you got all this surface area. But when you want to be precise, you can move your mouse just a little bit to get that precision. That's why with mouse and keyboard, you can move like crazy, but you can also have great precision. But now when it comes to controller, I mean, you got that thumbstick. There's only so much room that thumbstick can go. So either you go high sensitivity on it to move fast, but then when it comes to the precision, it's going to be a lot harder because, I mean, you have to move that millimeters for it to move, or you can go low sensitivity, which is, you know, what we usually recommend to improve your accuracy, but then you won't be able to do those flicks and turn around and move and have better movement, right? So you have to choose one or the other when it comes to console. You can go in the middle, but again, it's not the best of both worlds. But when it comes to mouse and keyboard, you can choose both. You got the high surface area for that high movement, and then since you got a high surface area, you got that precision right in the middle. So when it comes to just general aiming, obviously, yeah, the one on mouse and keyboard is definitely going to be a lot better. Now, before we jump into the most important one, right, the aim assist, this, right, let's jump into something very, very important. When it comes to, let's say you're a new player, you've never played before, right? It is definitely going to be a lot easier to pick up that controller and put on aim assist and have good kills, right? That's going to be the easiest way to do it. Controller, a lot easier to pick up, a lot easier to play than it is on mouse and keyboard. Now, when it comes to longevity and you're practicing and you want to be the best of the best, mouse and keyboard has something that I would call kind of like a harder entry, which would be it's harder to control mouse and keyboard, but because of that harder entry, once you master it, you will definitely have a higher skill than somebody that's on controller. Obviously, there's people that's really, really good on controller, and there's both sides. But I mean, when you see guys like Shroud, when you see guys like Exogos, all these guys that are goddamn crazy when it comes to aiming, I mean, that you go like, God damn, you know, how did he do that? And well, let me just show you what I mean right here. So we got one of Aiden's clips, right? It's a pretty good clip where he gets a bunch of kills, right? Beaming left and right, but you know, he's a pretty good player, and you can see the beams, you know, shooting, not shooting full head wise and beaming, right? Pretty good beams, right? He missed a couple shots, but obviously we know he took a couple shots like to the legs and to the stomach and a little bit around there, right? And we got another clip of him coming over here and, you know, pretty nice destroying people, right? He's destroying people, but obviously he's shooting them first. He's got good movement, and you know, he's shooting around the like the chest area, right? Let's just take a look at this. Let's just take a look at Mr. Exogos here, one of the best at PC. All right, let's just take a look. All right, pretty decent kill. Okay, what the fuck is going on here? Can somebody look at this? I mean, look, what the fuck is it? Look at his aim though. Look at his aim though. You know, like what? This guy is on another look. I mean, look at the beams though. Look at this shit. You cannot compare this guy's aim. Like, look at this. Look at this shit. This guy is just beaming people left and right. It looks like he's got aim lock. Look at that. Look at the shit he's got. You cannot compare this man right here with this guy's aim, which he's been playing a lot on PC, to a guy like Aiden. I mean, Aiden's moves were good, but I mean, look at this. This is like on another level. This seems like it's sped up, like it's fast forwarded, but it ain't. This is just on another level, and this is what I mean, all right? The level of entry is a lot harder on PC, but once you are good and once you know how to handle it, you are gonna be a lot better on PC than somebody would be on controller. It is just a fact. Now, one of the things Iceman Isaacs was saying was that for long range, he thought that controller was a lot better, right? Because of that aim assist that you get. So I'm just trying to find somebody here that doesn't shoot at me and that I can kind of, okay, so here we go. This is kind of like the aim assist that you get, right? If I'm going left to right, you can definitely feel that, right? There's definitely plenty of aim assist, right? But obviously, if I stay aiming to that guy and he starts moving around, as you guys can see, my aim doesn't really follow him. It's just like a tiny bit, right? I'm not touching my aim right there. I wasn't touching my aim right there. So obviously, right, when you're trying to beam somebody and you're trying to keep on point, it's definitely going to be a lot easier, right? So definitely, it's not like it doesn't help, right? Iceman Isaac was definitely right in that point, that aim assist definitely does help, right? It definitely does influence in these things. But obviously, once I've showed you these other clips, it's because there is a huge disadvantage on it. Now, a lot of people were saying, you know, like, oh my God, like if it's aim assist, right? And if it's not with aim assist, like you're not a good player just because you were on aim assist. And actually the gameplay that you saw in the background at the beginning, that was actually me playing on controller with my aim assist turned off when a squeaker came in my chat and said that all my KD and everything I had was just because of aim assist. So I actually turned it off my first time using it. And I think I ended up with like 14 kills or something like that. So that just goes to prove that aim assist isn't everything, right? It definitely does help, but aim assist isn't everything. And it just goes to show that I think one of the most important things in Warzone is the game sense that you have and your overall game knowledge, right? So now to the final question, which one is better, controller or keyboard? I'm gonna say this, if you're just looking to be a casual player, right, you're jumping in, then I would just say controller, right? Definitely go controller. If you're not gonna put the time and effort into it, right? Maybe get a modded controller, you know, get some paddles and stuff in it, and you know, you'll definitely be a lot better, right? If you got the money, then go ahead and spend it and you'll be pretty good. Now, if you want to be a boss, right? If you really want to put the time and effort into this game and you want to be like a boss that you just want to seem crazy, then I would definitely say keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse takes a lot more time to get into, but once you are a boss, you are a boss. As I just proved you right there, a simple clip side by side, and that's every single Aiden clips look like that, and every single Exoghost clips look like that. The level of skill once you basically cap it out, right? Like the max cap that you can do is just so much lower on controller compared to on PC. Somebody that is crazy on PC and like he capped it out, he's just gonna be incredibly so much better than somebody that has max capped it out on a controller. And those are just facts. At the end of the day, stop whining about the aim assist. All right, that's one of the biggest things that people want to it's just like so annoying listening to people complain about aim assist, because also one of the reasons this exists is that I also feel that a lot of people don't talk about. One of the most important things is that remember that aim assist was put into the game for console, right? Because people are playing on console, people are playing on controller, and it's a little bit harder to aim. Now, obviously, once we have cross-platform, remember, it was put in because of console versus PC, right? Console versus PC. That's the question here, right? If you got a PC and you got a controller, then you've got both, best of both worlds, right? You got the FOV, you got the NVIDIA filters, you got all that. But remember, the real question here for aim assist, and when people whine about he has aim assist, is he's playing on a console. I mean, most of the time, right? There's a lot of people that play on PC, but I'm talking about the general versus battle that we're doing here. I play on a PlayStation 5. So you're talking about somebody that plays on a PlayStation 5. Right now, we finally got 120 FPS, but you were talking about somebody that had like 60 FPS, 1080p. You can customize any single filter except the colorblind and maybe switch the brightness up and down. And we know that filters can change the game dramatically. Sometimes you got crashes. The graphics aren't even the same. And you got a potato that it seems like it's ready for takeoff against somebody that's on a PC. That's one of the most important things is the FOV. So people whine about console players having aim assist, but they don't see everything they have about these. You know, they can take advantage of more than 60 frames per second. The FOV, the NVIDIA filters, which back then really helped out a lot to kind of like stand out all these rose skins. So people just whine about that, but they don't see all the other things that makes PC better and why they're competing, right? Again, if you have a modded controller and you're playing on PC and you're really just comparing a controller versus a mouse and keyboard board on PC, then right, the battle comes a little bit closer, right? But don't ever whine about somebody on console having aim assist when you are on PC and he's on a console and you got 120 FOV, you got filters, you got more than 120 FPS, and you've got good graphics, all right? Never whine about that again. People just seem to forget about everything they have, and they just seem to whine about why that person beat you. If that person beat you, it wasn't because of aim assist. It was because he aimed better than you, he moved better than you, he had better game sense than you, and at the end of the day, he outplayed you. That is the end of the day, period. Peace out, everybody. Let me know what y'all think.